Oh, okay. Leave us hanging.
Right. There's lots of adventures that they have,
Oh,
for sure.
fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. Oh, thank you so much for reading, Tracy Sorrell, who finished Indian No More, and had it published by Charlene McManis and Tracy Sorrell. Thank you so much. Patty Manning is also here with us, and I wanted to ask you, Patty, if you would share with us. You said you were singing a little bit for Charlene. She was very ill and in bed, and she asked you if you would come over and sing for her. Do you want to talk about that experience?
Sure. It was just before she passed, and Roger and I were trying to figure out a good time for me to come over, and so he called and said, "Why don't you come over today?" And I had made her some prayer ties, and I brought her herbs of each of the four directions. And when I got there, I'd been at her house many times because Charlene, we had a 20-year friendship. And I walked in and just ended up sitting quietly for a little bit. And then Roger came and got me and said, "Yeah, come on upstairs." So we went up, and Charlene was just laying in bed. And I asked her, I told her that I brought all the herbs, and she was grateful for that. And we put them in right next to her in the bed. And we talked a little bit. And, as you said, Tracy, that, her voice was very weak. And we laughed a little bit and talked. And then she wasn't talking, and Roger and I were talking for a little bit, and then we talked a little bit more with Charlene, and I asked her if she would like me to sing. And she said, "Oh, yes, I'd love you to sing." So I chose to sing her the New Beginning song, because it was just something that we knew. In our belief system, we don't believe there's any such thing as death. There's only a change of worlds. So the New Beginning song would be when she was changed from one world to the next. And so I sang her that song, and that was the last time I saw her.
Yeah. Oh,
And I could
precious.
sing that song for you if you'd like.
Oh, I'd love it. That'd be beautiful.
Okay. um Windeya-ho, windeya-ho, windeya, windeya, ho, 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 hey, ho, hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. Windeya-ho, windeya-ho, windeya, windeya, ho, 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 hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. Ho, windeya-ho, windeya-ho, windeya, windeya, ho, 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 ya, ho, hey, ho, ya, ya, ya. And that was really the last time I saw Charlene.
Ah, so beautiful. Patty Manning, Tracy Sorrell, it's just been an honor to talk to both of you, to remember this wonderful woman that lived in our community, and her family is still here. We hope that we'll see them in the future. And I want to thank you for what you've shared with us today. And in closing, Tracy, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think the power of her story and what Charlene, put on the page has really been evidenced by the love that the story has gotten. And on my website, Tracy Sorrell, TraciSorrell.com, you can click on the books link, and there's a whole page devoted to Indian No More. And it details everything. In January, the American Indian Library Association announced its American Indian Youth Media Awards, and Indian No More won the middle school book category, which was fabulous, and not anything really, you anticipate, because you don't know how a book's going to be received. But the book's also gotten starred reviews. It was on the Best of Books list for several libraries last year. It was the Global Read Aloud choice for upper elementary. So that will put the books in that many more kids' hands as teachers read it aloud, because it is, as you heard, I mean, the words are wonderful. It's a great story. It reads quickly. And so I'm just thrilled that all of that work she put into telling the story, and its importance historically to help bring and shed a light on a time period that we just know nothing about, that has resonated as it's gone out into the world. When you write and you create something, you have no idea what that impact will be or how people receive it. And this book has been so well received that I just feel like it honors, it's an important part of her legacy. I mean, certainly her relationships with people in her family, that's always each of our principal legacies. But this book is something that I know, and this is the part that's bittersweet, is that I can call Roger, her husband, and tell him, like, hey, we got another, starred review, or there's been another accolade, or, it's won this thing. And it's really hard to not have her here, to share that.
Yeah.
But it is an important part of her legacy. And I'm just ecstatic that, it has been, like I say, so well received since it was published last September.
Oh, well, thank you.
So I want to thank you for, shining a spotlight on her life and her contributions, and for inviting me to join you today. Wado.
Well, thank you for joining us. Ole. Patty Manning, it's just been an honor to have you here, at this remote radio production site that we have going on. And I hope when the station opens up again, you'll come over and join us at Goddard College Community Radio. But, you told me that one of the first things that Charlene had published was a joke she sent into Indian country. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Can you tell us that for the last story?
Yeah, Charlene and I used to joke around about our people, and she was always joking around about the Wampanoags because of the boats that came and we let them into the country. So she said that it was our fault that they came in. And I used to get the news from Indian country, Lakota, from out west. And I was putting an advertisement for our powwow in the paper. We always did, hoping that someone from out west would come to our powwows. And then Charlene was like, I'm going to get in touch with them and see if I can do some writing for them. And I said, that'd be great. And she did, and they accepted her, and she started doing the comic strips. And the first comic strip she did was the one about the Wampanoags letting the people in and how their fault. And that they should have had better immigration.
Right. All right.
In what Tuesday. But I'd also like to just say that when I read the book, at first Charlene told me her story over and over. And so when I first read it, I got confused when she said she was entering into the 5th grade. And it seemed like that was like right after they got there. And I was like, what? And then I realized that it was like a time span. Each chapter was a different time. But I loved the book, and it really did resonate with many of the stories that she had told me. And she did say someday she was going to write a book, and she did.
Oh, yes.
And I'm so proud of her, because
yes, we are.
It's a great book.
All right. I just want to say thank you again and ask each of